Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm so happy to see you, and welcome to the latest in a series of webinars presented by Fast Forward American English, starring, well, tonight featuring my good friend, Agile coach, Kanban maestro, Andre Suman. And Andre is a wonderful presenter. If you have never seen him, hello Leonardo, how are you? Good. If you have never seen him, you're in for a treat. I learned stuff from Andre every time that I work with him, and I'm delighted that he has consented to do this webinar tonight, and especially to do it in English. Most of you have some background in Agile methodologies, but you probably know them in Portuguese. And so this is a chance to really see it in English. So I'm very, very proud and happy to present my friend Andre Suman. Let me give him the access to share the screen so he can do his PowerPoint. And Andre, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, my friend Mike. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I think the idea here is to present a very basic thing about Agile methodologies, or so what the hell is Agile methodologies. I will present something, we can discuss about it after the presentation, if you have some questions. And I think that the main point here is not the Agile methodologies itself, but the English. So we can talk a little bit. And I'm living for 3 years in US. And of course, you know that my accent is very Portuguese, very Brazilian. And one tip, if you move it here, they don't care if your accent is if you speak like a Brazilian, and you don't need to speak like an American, because probably you will not speak like an American just in a couple of years. So it's more to teach confidence than teach Agile at this time, but I will share it to you. So Agile methodologies. WT8 is that. WT8 is what the hell is that if you're not familiar. Mm-hmm. So can you see the presentation?
Yes.
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 Yes. So I'm Andre Suman. You can find me at andreasuman.com. My Instagram is at andresuman.kanban, because I talk a lot about Kanban. I'm a Kanban trainer as well. And my personal social media is at Andre Suman. It's Suman, but sometimes people say Suman, but it's Andre Suman. I live in a city called Bel Air, very close to Baltimore, about 20 minutes from Baltimore in Maryland. If you're not familiar with the United States map, it's on the right. You have New York, then a little bit down, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C., the capital. So I'm on the East Coast. And my city, Bel Air, is not the city from The Prince of Bel Air, the TV show. But another Bel Air here in the Bel Air from Maryland. The TV show is Bel Air in California. So I'm here, and I'm always in the game for Baltimore Ravens and Baltimore Orioles, my baseball team, my shirt. So I'm really into American sports here and trying to learn something new. So Agile methodologies. Let's start from the beginning. Let's understand what it is. I have some pictures here, and I'd like you to participate at this part of the presentation. I have a jet ski, a train, a ship, and other pictures here. What do you think in this picture are Agile? Or what is something that is Agile?
Something common here is speed.
Related to speed. What else? The agile definition is able to move quickly and easily. So Billy said about the speed, but it's not the speed itself, but how you use this speed to go in another direction, to make a move. If you think about the train, it's very fast. We have trains that travel in 400 kilometers per hour. But a train like this is not agile because it's always in the same direction. You can't move the train for other direction if you change your mind. It's different than we have the jet ski or the cheetah because they move very quickly in another direction. Well, this big ship here definitely is not agile because just to move this big ship for another place, you take so long and you need to wait a lot to go to another direction. But we have two athletes here, Messi and Usain Bolt. And a funny story about that is Bolt is the fastest human being that we notice. But if you watch Bolt running, he is retired now, but when he was running in Olympic Games or something you watch on TV, you see that other runners and the start of the race, they stay in front of Usain Bolt. And in about 30 or 40 meters, then he can go very fast and win the race. The point is, Bolt is very fast, but I don't think he is the agilest or the more agile guy in the race, because the point to start running, he is lower than the others. It's different than Messi, who is always changing direction and in a soccer game. So the point is, and the point that Billy said, agile is not exactly related to speed, but how you can use your speed to move and change your direction. And why I'm talking about that, about agile, about the word agile? Because years ago, and actually right now as well, we have things like this happening in software development, in companies that deliver software, software projects. And you see here, like how the customer explained it, how the business consultant described it, how the customer was billed, and what the customer really needs. So you see, and it's very common in software, that when you have an idea and you write that in a piece of paper and you develop the software, actually what you really need is not what you was thinking that you need. The point is, in software development, when we are trying to have a new thing working to solve a problem, it was very hard in a traditional way to imagine what is the best choice to do or the best thing to develop to solve the problem. And things like that was happening. The traditional model for software development and project management, we call waterfall. So we have a waterfall here on the right. And why we call waterfall the traditional way to deliver a project? Because you do that like in phases, in parts. First, the analysis, so we understand what we need to deliver, then the design, then the implementation, and after that, we test everything, the deployment, and this is a hard word, maintenance, right, Mike?
Oh, it was perfect.
The maintenance. So you can note here that you are in steps, one after other, and you do the whole step. If it was a cake, was like we have the cake base, we have the filling, and we have the icing. So we have a cake that we delivered, developing in parts. The problem was when we do like that, what we have here, what we deliver to the client, it was something that we described here during the analysis. So this was not working because we were always expending more money that we want. We were late and a lot of delays to do that. And the point is, Agile methodologies are practices that emerged as an alternative to traditional project management. So this was the traditional project management. And what we call Agile is more related as a culture than a process. And I will explain this to you. There were, in Agile development, we are not thinking the whole software before created or developing that. We will do that in small parts that we can use and learn something. Then we create another part of that software that is useful as well. And we are continuous delivering value. We are continuous deliver things that our customer can use, can do something with that, and we can learn with that to start doing another things. So here's is like an incremental process in iterative, correct, Mike?
Say again?
Iterative and incremental.
Yeah, iterative maybe.
Iterative and incremental process to deliver, and you are always delivering. In maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you are getting your customer using that. If was the cake metaphor that I use, it's like first you deliver a cupcake, and a cupcake is a whole cake. In a cupcake, you have the cake base, the filling, and the icing, but it's just a small one. If you like the cupcake, then we can deliver a simple cake. And after we deliver the simple cake, we can deliver the big wedding cake that you want. But note that since the beginning, you have contact with what you want, a whole part that you can use. So this is the main difference between Agile and the waterfall, the traditional way and what we are calling the alternative way, the Agile. So we have an Agile manifesto. What is this manifesto? People in the beginning of the century, they were like, we can't deliver software the way we always have delivered because we are spending a lot of money. The due date that we have to the project, we always lost. So 17 software developers, people that use it to work with software, they were in a ski resort in Utah, here in US, and they create the Agile Manifesto. That is like the background for everything that we call Agile methodologies. So in the Agile Manifesto, we have these 4 values: individuals and interaction more than process and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, responding to change over following a plan. And we have 12 principles as well. So everything we had here in Agile Manifesto is the background to what I'm saying to you, that we can deliver software faster. And if we need to change the direction, this is the point about being Agile. Your company, the company you work for, Sometimes we're delivering software or other things. Agile start with software, but it's for the knowledge work. We have software in marketing, human resources, and other areas. But the point is, your company needs to be able to change the direction, because the real world is bringing something different to you every day, and your company needs to survive. Imagine if you have you were developing software before the COVID pandemic, and your company was not able to have people in a store or something like that. So you need to adapt and move faster to another direction. This is the agile capacity. This is what we want. And so these 12 principles support this as well. So what we call agile, actually, there's not a company or a person that can say, this is agile, this is not agile. But what we call agile methodologies is a lot of things related to process, people, design, build, deploy, review, analysis, a lot of methods, frameworks, methodologies, practice that support you to become agile, that support you to respond what the real world is bringing to you as something that you need to change and move faster to another way. So we call agile like an umbrella. You have an umbrella that you have different practice and frameworks and methodologies inside. So I can work with agile methodologies and you can work with agile methodologies, and we are not doing the same thing. The background is the same. What we believe is the same. We believe that we need to deliver fast and deliver value and have people doing the right thing. But what specific you are using is what we call agile methodologies. A lot of things that are under this umbrella. But you don't need to use agile methodologies. Do not use agile methodologies if the project scope never changes, you have low uncertainty, the results always please the customer, the deadline is always met, everyone on the team is equal and motivated, all projects make a profit, and it's all great. You don't need to use agile if everything is all great in your company or in your project. The point is, it's very hard to have this situation here. And we were headbanging our heads on the wall for maybe 30 or 40 years in project managing, always trying to do the same way. So this was the alternative that emerged in the beginning of the century. And when we talk about Agile, we are talking about teams. It's less me and more team. So in Agile, we have focus on people. We talk about teamwork, collaboration, feedback, confidence, autonomy, and empiricism. If you don't remember, empiricism is when you have an experimental process. You are improving based on experiments. So in Agile, we believe that the teamwork is the better way to develop something. Like when we are playing soccer. What is the point here and what is the analogy? Well, soccer is very familiar for all of us here. And in soccer, if you are playing defense or you are playing offense, or if you are the goalkeeper, doesn't matter if you score a goal or not, if you are playing defense or not. But if your team wins, everybody wins. And if your team loses, everybody loses. You can have Cristiano Ronaldo in your team, or Messi or Neymar, but it's impossible that Neymar win the game and Brazil lose the game. Mm-hmm. You understand what I mean? So if you are in a teamwork, or everybody will win delivering and generating value, or everybody will lose. We're not exactly interested in an individual performance. We are interested in a team performance that we can collaborate to generate value. And how we can talk about teams in our environment. So talking about Agile, we have transparency. Everyone knows what the objective is. And we have visual management as well. We don't need 1,000 of meetings to understand what we are doing. We inspect and adapt. So we inspect the work in short cycles and analyze what we can improve. We have communication as an important thing, that we are a team. We need to talk with each other. We have autonomy. We know what to do and how to do it. And self-management. As a team, we set a daily plan to get the work done. So we have a lot of practice that can support that we deliver fast, that we deliver in a short cycle, and we improve the value for the customer. Talking about inspect and adapt, this is simple. We can have a meeting that we call retrospective, that we, with our team, we discuss about what was good, what was not so good, what we're going to do to improve for the next couple of weeks. And about self-organization and self-management. This is what we call a stand-up meeting or a daily meeting. As a team, we discuss a plan, how we will deliver the plan by the end of the day, what we are going to do, and discuss the collaboration with each other to deliver the challenge that we have for the day. And the point here is we have Agile practice, we have Agile principles, we have Agile values, but doing Agile is using this practice. Being Agile is think in an Agile way. So the point is not what you are doing, what framework, what methodology, what practice are you using in a daily basis. The point is your company prepared, or is your team prepared to being Agile and understand that we need to generate value? Sometimes we will do that changing things that are happening. Sometimes we will do that just delivering a small piece that we can learn something before delivering a bigger piece. And this is hard to understand when you have the old mindset that we will discuss about, we will write a document, and we will deliver exactly what we wrote in that document because this will solve the problem. This is the point that we need to understand Agile. Don't do things that we decide to do when we have just a few information. Get information from your customer to deliver something that is better and to learn about that. And you have a lot of practices, frameworks, and methodologies to support you. So thank you so much. This was my presentation. Of course, you note that my English is far from being perfect, but I think this is the point here. When we are talking in English here, Mike is an American, and I'm pretty sure that he understood everything that I said. Sometimes using the wrong verbal, the wrong verb, sometimes using I don't remember nothing about present perfect, present continuous, past perfect, and everything. It doesn't matter. If we are able to communicate, we are good to go. And there's something that I learned here in US that, do you know what my accent means? My accent is a sign that I'm brave enough to talk with you in a language that is not the language that I was born talking about. So this is it, pessoal.
And I want to follow up with what Andre said with one detail that Alice mentioned last week when we had Andre, as he said, speaks English good, but far from perfect. but he speaks confidently, and that makes all the difference in the world. We are used to hearing accents. So are you. If there are people from Argentina or Chile who speak Portuguese, you're going to hear them through their thing, and you will understand them. Right? Andre has always been a very confident guy from the moment that I met him more than 3 years ago, and part of his confidence comes from the fact that he loves what he does, and he truly believes in what he does, and so. But also the fact that he's a great presenter, and you can't be a good presenter if you don't have confidence. And I learned a lot from Andre, and I learned a lot from him always with today. And I like to believe that my company is, and it's funny because last week, and did you notice how Andre pronounced Agile? He pronounced it as agile, okay, not agile. Agile is the Portuguese European pronunciation of that word. And now he's been in the United States long enough where he now has an American accent with that word. And I was listening to him, I said, wait, he says agile, just the way that I said it last week. So, Andre, I guess now it's question time, right?
Yeah, if you have any question, we can discuss about it.
Well, I have a question, and I've asked you this question maybe in a different form. There are forms of agile methodology. Why would one company use Kanban and another company use Scrum, for instance? What are some of the criteria as why some companies would do things differently?
I think it's more about the future from the company, because we have some frameworks like Scrum, or we have SAFe. That is something that you need particular roles or meetings, something that is more prescriptive. You understand that some companies, they are looking to install an agile thing here. So we will follow these things that are more prescriptive, like frameworks. Mm-hmm. Kanban is more an evolutionary method. In Kanban, you do not create roles, or you do not change anything in the company. You start with what you are doing now. So if the company think that it's better to go in evolutionary way, Kanban is very powerful for that, because you just stick Kanban in what you are doing, and even if it was Scrum or SAFe or anything else. So I think it's more what people know what to do and how to do that decides what they are bringing, but sometimes it's all together. Mm-hmm. And probably Kanban or Scrum or SAFe or a lot of other things, they will not generate the value expected by themselves. So you remember the umbrella? Kanban is to manage the work, not the workers. Probably we will have another thing to manage the workers. Probably you need things for software engineering, like what do you do in your servers, developers, how developers and testers deal with each other, how they promote the software to be used in production. So the point is, a good agile coach have a big toolbox and understand what is the time to address every issue with the particular tool that he believes.
Okay, yeah, and it's interesting that many of my students are Scrum Masters or product owners, and these are all, well, Scrum obviously has roles for people, and there are daily scrums and things like that are sprints and all of these things. So Scrum needs to really be implemented, and Kanban can be like just you can just put Kanban inside of a thing and just use it without changing a lot of things. Do I understand that right, Andre?
Yeah, in the beginning, yes, because Scrum is a framework and Kanban is an evolutionary method.
Okay.
And they can work together as well.
Okay, yeah, because
there are a lot of other things when we talk about Agile. How we deliver software, how we get the information for the client to create new backlog items, how we discover what to do and what to not do. There's a lot of things in Agile that you can use.
Very, very, very nice. Anybody else have a question for Andre?
Billy raised their hand.
Billy had his hand up, yes.
Yes, in my company, we mixed some different frameworks like Safe, Scrum, Lean, and we create a new one with that mix in our culture, the company culture, and we work very well with our Itaú Agile methodology that we create.
That's fine. Yes.
Yeah, this is a good point, Bill, because if I know what every company in the world should do to deliver a good software, I'm becoming a trillionaire.
Yes.
So of course I don't know. And the point is, what you discover that you can do something new and adapt to your culture and to your environment. So it's very common now. We see the Itaú Agile Framework, the Santander Agile Framework, the Pão de Açúcar Agile Framework. Every company have their own framework that is a mix of everything we found in Agile.
Nice. Leo, you had a question.
Yeah. First, congratulations, Andre, for your presentation. I'm a big fan of your work, your blog, and
it's always better picture in Portuguese, Leo.
My question is, since you are living in USA, did you work with any American companies there? And if yes, did you notice any difference between the way that we do Agile here in Brazil and how people do Agile or try to implement Agile in American companies?
Very good question. I have some contact with companies here. Now I'm working for a Brazilian team, but sometimes I have an opportunity to talk with American companies. And first of all, Brazilians, Agilists are far, far, far in the front of the American Agilists. So you should be proud that how we work in Brazil and how Agile, the maturity of Agile in Brazil is much more than here in US. I think Brazil is maybe top 3 in Agile in the world, if we talk about how mature we are and how we can deal with that. And it's interesting because what is the point? Agile, as we talked in the first slide, was how you can change your direction or adapt with things. And this is what Brazilians do every day. We are always adapting with something and trying to do in a different way and think in a different way to create something. The point here in US is they have a lot of money, Leo. Big companies here, they expend millions and millions of dollars in consultants that they think that if they build a model or if they install Agile is better. So the culture here in US is if you broke, if you buy something new. If you want a particular thing, you just buy it. And in companies, it's pretty much like this. We need to work with Agile. So, okay, hire some consultants and pay a contractor that will install Agile here for us. And you know, it's not like this that happens. It's more about culture and everything. So I see here in US that this model that pay a lot of money to install Agile here, they are now understanding that it doesn't work very well. So they are now trying for more evolutionary change to understand the market, to understand what we need to do to improve. And just to clarify my point, I'm participating in some meetups and presentations here with the Agile community, and things that I used to say in Brazil in 2018, 2017, when I talk here about like upstream Kanban, something that every Brazilian that worked with Agile knows about it, or Agile metrics or something like that, they always say, wow, the Brazilian guy have a point. He have a good point. Well, it's something that is new here. And funny story, I did a presentation in Princeton University. Princeton, Albert Einstein was a Princeton profession. Mm-hmm. So we think, wow, it's like everything here for Brazilians, we think, oh, works better. It's like they have the NASA and they go to the moon and they were able to do everything. And people here are paying bills, sending checks by mail. So this is not exactly the point, right? So I think Brazilians should be very proud what we build related to Agile in Brazil. And the main difference, as I said, is here they are understanding that no matter how much money do you have, if the culture, you don't buy culture with your money, so you need to build that. Billy is on mute.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have a question. Do you have experience with startups that they don't have so much money to implement Agile? And if you know something.
I don't have this experience, Billy, but what I see is more startups is go horse. So you need to you need to deliver. Doesn't matter. You do not have people's in particular roles. It's just let's deliver that. So of course, there's some point that they have more money and investment, and they try to like manage their work in a better way. But in the beginning is the guy that owns the company is developing and programming the whole night to trying to do something. So it's more go horse process in the beginning.
What does that mean, go horse process, Andre?
Go horse process is the process that you don't think anything, you just do it. Okay. Like go horse.
Yes.
I get it. I understand.
The go horse is a no expression in IT word.
Okay. Okay.
Everybody in this room probably did a go horse at some point of their career.
Certainly did. I've never heard the term before, but now I can add it to my own vocabulary. See, I learn English all the time, even today. That was a new expression for me. So it's great to keep learning. Anybody else? Any other questions for Andre? In English or no Portuguese? You have to keep it in English because it's an English thing. Well,
I have one question.
Sure.
Hi, Andre. How's it going? Nice to see you again.
Hello, nice to see you.
I would like to know what you recommend about certification, getting certification as a Scrum Master, as a Agile coach. What would you recommend? like a path, you know. First a Scrum Master certified, and then a Kanban. Talking about the umbrella that you showed us, what do you think it's it's a path that you can follow?
Well, I think if you want to work as an Agilist or an Scrum Master or Agile coach, if I don't use Scrum in the last 5 years, probably since 2018 was my last sprint in a Scrum team. I'm not using Scrum anymore, but it's good to know what it is and how it works, because there's a lot of companies doing that. And so for Scrum, there are some organizations like the Scrum.org and the Scrum Alliance. The Scrum.org, the initial certification is the PSM1. So the PSM1 from Scrum.org or the CSM from Scrum Alliance, the certified Scrum Master. You don't need to have both, just one of, if what is Scrum.org or Scrum Alliance. The point is, the Scrum.org is just the test. If you pass the test, you get a certification. The Scrum Alliance, you have the training course related before the test. So if you learn something like in YouTube or reading books and you are familiar with Scrum and you don't want to pay a training course, I recommend Scrum.org because you just need to pass the test. If you want to attend classes and learn with a particular instructor that is able to teach the Scrum, I recommend the Scrum Alliance, the CSM. The CSM is what I have. For Kanban, we have the Kanban University. That is the organization where David Anderson, the guy that created Kanban, is part of. So, well, this was not the purpose here, but I'm a Kanban trainer from Kanban University. So I recommend start with the TKP certification, the Team Kanban Practitioner, if you want to understand the basic. If you are familiar with Kanban, if you are working with Kanban, you know the 6 Kanban general practice, you can start from the KSD, Kanban System Design. But I just recommend the Kanban System Design if you know what is a class of service, if you know how to build a cumulative flow diagram, if you know what is a lead time, but the basic is the Team Kanban Practitioner. And you have other certifications not related to Scrum or Kanban. You have SAFe, for instance. I have a SAFe certification. I hate SAFe. But I need to learn that because I need to understand what the company is trying to do or what is the framework. So I don't use SAFe, but I know what is the thing. So it's more like it's creating your toolbox, Victor. And of course, in the Agile world, we have people that like more the technology, like the process, like soft skills, like hard skills. So it's very common that you have Agilists that have more power in a particular part of Agile. I work with Kanban, I like metrics, but there are other people that prefer to work with people, soft skills, how to collaborate. So it's more what is the discipline that you like, and you can do a deep dive.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Very good. Again, let me just say a big thanks to Andre for his presentation this evening. And I'm so happy that so many of you were here tonight and were able to hear and listen in English. To maybe some information that you already knew, but now you're hearing in a different language. Leo, you have another question. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, just to very fast question. Do you plan to have the Kanban maturity model or fitness for purpose in your? Do you plan to teach that? Just
Yeah, probably this is a path for the Kanban trainers, Leo, but the Kanban University, they choose particular instructors that are older in the organization to teach the KCP and the Kanban maturity model. So it's not something that in a short term I'm going to deliver as a training course. Probably maybe next year or something like that, but it's not something that is in a short term. Yeah, I will deliver.
Well, again, I want to say thanks for everybody who I can see, and I'm looking over there and I see a bunch of people who I can't see, but there's one, two, three, and Hinata is here again. Boy, I have to give Hinata credit. Hinata is Hinata, there she is. And let me introduce, Hinata is like the newest member of the Fast Forward team. Maybe some of you don't know Hinata, but Hinata is in Paraná now. And Hinata is the one who's responsible for the wonderful new post that you're seeing from us, the very professional looking post that you see on LinkedIn and Instagram. So Hinata is there. I'm very happy to see Hinata. She's an old friend of mine, and I'm delighted to have her as part of the team. So Hinata, good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. I was recording, Andre.
And so I'm recording this as well. So I wish you all a very good night, and I hope you have a marvelous weekend. And I know it's election time in Brazil, so I don't have to tell you to vote because you have to vote. Except for so whoever you support, I hope your candidate wins or at least goes to the next election. And good luck. Alice, very good to see you as always. And for the rest of you, thank you so much for coming. Andre, I hope you have a wonderful time, and I will see you sometime in October for sure. For sure.
Okay, I'm looking forward for that. Thank you everyone for coming. And if you didn't like so much what I present, give a shot for my Portuguese presentations on YouTube. So you can find in YouTube some presentations about Agile.
Wonderful. Okay, everybody, have a good night. I'm going to stop this.